Hey, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy, I'm One for Orange, back at it again with another competitive analysis video on the Pokemon Planet meta. It's been a damn minute before I said those words, but to be fair, the game has not changed much, and I took a little break from making content, but I'm here again with my co-host, Smooge. Introduce yourself, buddy.
This dude said, I'm One for Orange. I don't know if anyone else heard that.
Can we redo the...
No, we can't redo it. It's perfect.
Yeah, now I'm caught in fucking 4K. It's cool. Orange. All right, you got to get the little oddities out immediately. So, yeah, bro, I'm blundering. Okay, like it's been like 5-6 months before I've been on a mic outside the Wishments video. Like, come me a break.
Let's just not have a dark mode.
Oh, it doesn't. It's cringe.
All right, you know what? I have a solution. We're doing this on video. Dark theme, yeah, there we go.
Hell yeah. So, if you haven't found out by now, this is 300 Turns. This is Smooge and I's podcast where we go over a variety of topics, largely in the Pokemon Planet competitive scene, or I suppose the game as a whole. A lot of the conversations we have come from Smooge's experience also in other MMOs. He's not a one-trick like I am. This guy plays PRO, Pokemon, every MMO under the sun, honestly. I bet you've played Pixelmon a bunch, too.
I don't play Pokemon. Take that back right now.
You don't play Pokemon?
No, Pokemon.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
sorry.
Fuck that game. But Pixelmon is fun for sure. I like Pixelmon. I think I should move my mic closer to my mouth. That was probably loud. Oops. But yeah, Pixelmon is fun. I think if I ever join like a Pixelmon tournament, I'll probably like record it. It's something new, you know. But anyway. Yeah, I like Pokemon.
Sounds wild. It's still on your mind, like, to this day.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm sort of the one trick of Pokemon Planet. Like, I come from the background where I literally just, like, used to come home from high school, play Shoddy Battle. You know, as Pokemon Showdown came out, I played that. But Pokemon Planet's really my first MMO. And even though, like, I kind of live and breathe it these days, like, I'm a little bit of a one trick like that. So Smooge is there to keep me in check, offset me a little bit. Also kind of the big boy, you know, Mr. 2K subs. Congrats, by the way.
Yeah, I hit that like a month ago, and then I just didn't upload.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's still like 2K. So, all right, well, I guess I kind of talked about my channel enough a little bit. I'm One for Orange, you know, here, and you can see this is on my channel, and in the description you'll see a link to Smooge's channel. Do you stream on Twitch still? What do you upload? What's your schedule like?
I'll probably stream more eventually. I don't know.
Yeah,
streaming,
fair.
I like streaming, but like I feel like I have nothing to stream most of the time, you know?
Yeah, just like Pokemon Planet grinding like these days, and you know, how far does that get you outside of events?
I have nothing to hunt right now. Okay, you know what? I think you're right. I think this is better without music.
All right, we're killing the music then?
Yeah, I turned the music off.
All right, solid. As for my channel, guys, like honestly, I'm kind of taking a break from content, but I'll be posting 300 Turns a little bit, so you can sub to the channel for that. I'll bring back the competitive analysis at some point, especially for the new Tier 1, which is the topic of today's video. We're going to be going over all the T1 changes today, the bans, the unbans, possible things in the future, and we have a tier list to show you guys towards the end of the video. But I'm not here alone with Smooge today. We have our special guest, Shades. Why don't you introduce yourself, buddy?
Hey everyone, it's Shades, as I'm One for Orange, introduced. So I do similar things to these guys, just Pokemon Planet. I guess I am also a one-trick pony, and but I'm very excited to be here to talk about Pokemon.
Awesome.
Sounds
yeah,
good.
You're definitely a OG to have on the channel. You've played PPO much longer than me, right? Like you started in 2017, 16?
Actually, my very first account was actually from 2015, so I've been playing this game for a very long time. And then that account, I barely got past the Kano Elite Four, and then I just started a new one, and that's where I am today.
Yeah, that's sick.
Well, I think my account might be older than both of yours right now. I made my account in 2016.
He said 2015.
Oh.
Yeah, I said 2015, man.
Okay, what about your second one?
I'm like, oh, yeah. That's like 2017 then, so.
Hell
Guess you-
yeah, I'm
guess you'd be
old.
younger than that.
Yeah, I don't know. I started the game in 2020, so it's kind of nuts that
Yeah.
like I talk to
Already
people
lost.
that literally have like grown up on this game. Like they've grown through high school and go into college, and like this game's always been there for them. Like I kind of figured out this game after college, so
Yeah, I remember just coming home, just getting onto this game. It's a Christmas event, and like just grinding Pokemon, grinding like the Articunos and Xerneases and all that.
So
true
wait,
summer event heat ran.
You said
Yeah.
we're not going over this tier list until no, towards the end of the video.
Yeah, do like you see the list here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what makes you ask?
Oh, because that's what I'm recording.
And that's fine. I mean, you could just like, oh, well, I mean, you can have it up. People like to see whatever. But yeah, no,
Okay.
we're talking about. I suppose we should hop right into it. I mean, since you have it up, what is
Yeah.
a viability rankings or what is a tier list? So,
So-
pretty much what you're looking at here. Do you want to explain it? Go for it.
No, you can do it.
Whatever.
You're
So
better
a
at explaining
viabil-
shit.
A viability ranking serve as a visual aid, or it's kind of like a discussion point that you can look at and reference. It definitely helps you if you're learning how to team build still. And what I use it for personally is I can kind of look at a tier list and I can visually see, okay, these are the mons that I have to look out for. And remember, as I said, this is very much our opinion of the tier. But at the same time, a tier list is always going to be relatively opinion based. There's usage stats in game, which can certainly help, but I would say they're a little bit skewed in terms of there's not exactly usage stats or win rates based on people that are a certain ranking or certain skill threshold, as rough as that is to say. So you kind of rely on external sources like this to come up with these rankings to really help you build your team and recognize your threats. So, and with this tier list here, we're going to try not to put bias on the speed of teams specifically for Clan Wars. So we're not going to favor things like hyper offense, when hyper offense should hypothetically give you the most wins in the Clan Wars format. We're going to be trying to take into account like how good the Pokemon would perform in any setting, even if there's future T1 tournaments or fan-made tournaments going on. Do you have anything to add to that, Smooge?
I like tier lists as a way to see, hey, this Pokemon's good. I should try it.
That's another good point. Yeah,
That's just how I look at them. Because like for me, I guess in the back of my head, I've played for so long, and I've kind of like memorized every metagame that I've played in. That I don't need to look at a tier list anymore. I just know it's there, and I can visually see it in my head. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm just fucking cracked out of my mind.
You are, and I feel like when I talk to you,
Yeah.
like typically you want to make tier lists and you don't really like reference one or bring one up.
Yeah.
You're kind of just like, this Pokemon's good.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, tier lists are good for like remembering what's in a tier and seeing if you want to, build around like a Pokemon. Like if I want to build around Snorlax, I'm probably building like basically semi-stall with it. I don't think Snorlax fits well in offense at all.
Fair enough. So yeah, that's where we'll start. That's what a tier list is, and you'll see the one that Smooge has had on the screen. That's not really a bad thing. We'll go over it in depth at the end, but if honestly, some people might not even be here for the intro or like any of the discussion. They might just want to see the tiers. So there you go. There's the tier list. But let's get into the discussion. Yeah, I'll do timestamps. Don't worry.
Chapters and shit.
I suppose we should start with like the reason this video is being uploaded is because there were changes to the tier 1 format. Like notably, Alomomola and Blissey were banned, and we'll be getting into that shortly. But Raikou and Starmie are the two unbans. Now, I have Raikou here. I have notes on Raikou from Smooge, so I figured maybe he should start it off here.
Bad.
Yeah.
That's literally that's actually what my notes say. Just bad.
Yeah, exactly. I actually don't think Raikou is going to be like a super premier threat in the tier at all. I think it shouldn't have been banned in the first place anyway, in my opinion. So like unbanning it now is kind of giving it what it deserved initially, if that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it ever really should have been banned. Like even in the old meta, I don't think it would have been particularly like overwhelming or anything. And I don't even think it's the best mon in the tier or anything. I honestly think like Raikou just isn't that crazy. Yeah, basically. I mean, Smooge says it's like flat out bad. I think there are some things, but we'll get into it a little bit when we go over the tier list. But yeah, first impressions, Raikou maybe isn't crazy in the tier. As for Starmie, I mean, Smooge also says like literally one note that this thing's worse than Sharpedo.
Yeah.
Honestly, I agree.
So I am a huge Sharpedo stan. I think Sharpedo's the best mon in this tier, and no one can change my mind.
I think Starmie is like super cool to have in the tier 2. This one's the one that I'm like a little more scared of unbanning it, and I suppose you two immediately disagree because you guys think Shark is better, but like Starmie on paper, you know, Life Orb Analytic Calcs, like absolutely as soon as you throw like Analytic Calcs into the mix, like a lot of Starmies would be switch-ins, like absolutely disappear. That's kind of a thing that happens on paper, and it certainly can fit coverage on its set. Like Psyshock, Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt alone, I would consider to be like a viable set. You don't carry utility like Recover or Rapid Spin, but you don't really need to. I guess what I'm trying to say here is like that coverage on paper can be extremely broken, but I suppose it can also be played around is the interesting thing. Like just because something is completely busted on paper and 2-hit KOs, OKOs, everything in the tier, that requires you to get predictions right. And, you know, a not so prediction reliant Pokemon such as Sharpedo that just blows everything away, that might be perceived to be better. But I was scared of Starmie. I'm not going to be, I'm not going to lie here.
Yeah. Also, for the people who are looking at my screen and see like this tier list, and we're talking about how Raikou's bad and Starmie's not that great, and even though they're here, I have another one over here that we're gonna be changing around and stuff. So don't worry.
Oh, you haven't shown him that one yet? Good, cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way.
yeah, don't worry.
But for now, I'm just keeping this one on screen.
Yeah, for sure. We'll be moving stuff around to prove our points and whatnot as we get into the tier list. So those are the 2 unbans that just happened. I have a list of Pokemon here that could potentially get unbanned, and I kind of wanted to give some quick thoughts on each one. Smooge, why don't you start off with some of the ones you feel strongly about here at the top of the list?
I just thought about hold on. So what we can do on this one is we could just slap those into where I think they would be whenever we
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, we could do that towards the end. But yeah,
all
so
right.
Future unbans, I think Volcanion, Hydreigon, Mew, Azelf, Alakazam, Nidoking, and can all be unbanned if, well, not if, but also, I think Aloe and Blissey should come back.
So, like, under the exception that Aloe and Blissey come back, do you think the power level, like, there's a little more need for those walls to come into break, or do you just think they'll be healthy?
I think it'll just be more healthy, because like, if you look at our UU, like we could literally just be like Gen 6 UU. Like there's nothing really stopping us. Like the only thing missing from our metagame is basically just Mega Pokemon, right? And like
yeah,
maybe,
pretty much.
Maybe
Yeah.
Terrakion, but I feel like that would be. Oh wait, no, we have Terrakion. I'm stupid. Hold on. I'm thinking of 2 different games now. What are we missing?
Dude, I don't know Gen 6 UU like the back of my hand. You're on your own, man.
Thundurus, I guess. Maybe normal Tornadus. I don't know. I don't think either of those are even good in UU.
What you're saying is we do have, and I've noticed this before too, like going back and looking, like our UU is actually somewhat similar to some extent Gen 7 UU too. Like there are some oddities in Gen 7 UU as well.
It's like a mix
actually
between Gen 7 UU and RU.
Yeah, actually that's probably a much better explanation. I was gonna try to correct myself. Yeah. Like a lot of the RU tier and the UU tier are definitely like blended together.
Yeah. So I think I think we should move towards a more actual UU tier. I think Volcanion and Hydreigon both kind of solidify UU as a whole. Maybe that's just me, but I feel like Volcanion, Hydreigon, Alomomola, Blissey, they kind of like run UU, you know? And I guess Scizor, but I feel like Scizor might be too much.
So like
Sorry, you can go.
Nah, you haven't talked much, man.
So I was gonna mention that how those four that you just listed were like the staple UU mons when you think of like Gen 7 UU, and
Yeah,
like
even Gen 6.
yeah, even Gen 6. It's like
Actually,
well,
wait. Gen 6 didn't have Volcanion.
the other three then.
Yeah.
So I agree with you though, because if we were to bring those mons back, I think Alomomola and Blissey would need to come back as well. And even like if you look at PPO's OU tier, like quote unquote OU, Volcanion and Hydreigon, they don't see that much usage, so they're kind of stuck in that limbo, you know?
Yeah, and even if something does see usage, like, we aren't Smogon, you know? We don't have to, like, follow usage stats in order to unban something.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I really like that point too. Like Smogon, has very, very set in stone ways of how a Pokemon falls from tier to tier, but we don't exactly have to follow that, and we
Yeah,
haven't in the past.
and
Bro,
our
did I?
best example
Uh-huh.
for that, is Kingdra. Like, Kingdra, obviously, it's good on Rain, and Rain is pretty common, but that thing would be dog shit in UU.
Yeah,
Because we don't
especially
have
with
auto
Drizzle
Rain.
Band. Like, do we have to follow the Smogon staple where Kingdra has to stay OU, even into tier where Drizzle is banned? Like, I'd say we
Yeah,
have the
we definitely
freedom
don't.
to decide that as a community.
I feel like
I
there's no
will
reason to.
say I will say regarding like Alomomola and Blissey that I personally think both of their bans were relatively like just for the time and the tier for us. Like,
Mhm.
and what I'll say is like, so I know you disagree on Blissey Smooge, and I do invite a little bit of debate here, but regarding Blissey, I think there was such a nasty core there with Alomomola plus Blissey in particular being the two kind of offenders there. And I do think that Alomomola is one that people generally wanted banned more because that thing just put a complete stop to everything physical. And of course, you could look at Blissey as kind of the alternative, like it put a stop to everything special. And
Yeah. See, I the way I see it is like, Aloe quite literally kind of just stopped people from having fun.
mhm.
Like, and I completely agree with Aloe's ban, at least right now. But Blissey, I feel like I never had a problem with Blissey ever. Every time I saw Blissey, I'm like, all right, Venomoth, it's your time, bro. Or
like
like, even anything else, like, it's just everything in the scare kind of fucked Blissey.
I think based on the time of how the tier was looking a month ago or so, and it can be kind of hard to like re-envision where you were and how you were feeling about the tier at that time. But for me, I feel like Aloe plus Blissey was such like a nasty combo on paper where if you played that in tier one, it was really rare that you actually had like a solid breaker unless it was like literally Venomoth, Magic Guard Sigilyph on your team, which those were relatively common, but I would say your list of options to cover that core was so low that I would say
Mhm.
like I would be worried if we banned Aloe, kept Blissey, and people kept the exact same core going with something like Slowbro plus Blissey.
Yeah.
So
Right,
at,
right.
at the time, I feel like Blissey kind of like if you ban it for a little bit to see what happens, then you're going to see how the tier is going to shift. But I would say the tier is not improved that much, like in terms of still having fat shit in it. Like people have just replaced Blissey with stuff like AV Snorlax, AV Reuniclus, AV Escavalier. Like the tier hasn't
Porygon
really
too.
sped up. Yeah, Porygon 2 is a really big one that just like benefited a lot. So I like the fact that they were banned for the time, but I would be open to unbanning them again if we were to allow some of these specific unbans here as well. Like, I don't think they come back into the tier alone, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I would definitely invite some of these unbans that we've listed. Do you by chance like have the spreadsheet open so people can see like the
Yeah, I have it
list?
open here.
All right, perfect. Yeah. So what are some of
So,
the ones we said no to? Yeah.
so Latias, I think these are just like things that we're supposed to go over, but I guess it
Yeah,
just never got brought up. But
it's fine.
Latias, I think Latias would be too strong even if all this stuff gets unbanned. I think Scizor and Chandelure also follow that. Also Porygon Z. Porygon Z is has always been like UUBL in like every single generation, I think.
Yeah, it kind of is like Staraptor to me and Salamence.
Yeah, it's like very hard to wall. Basically, even Blissey has trouble walling that thing, man.
I think
Mm-hmm.
you kind of need Ferrothorn in the same like tier with Porygon Z just to like keep it at bay. Because
Yeah,
as you said,
even
like Blissey still struggles with dealing with it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
even in OU, like I see a Porygon Z, I'm like, oh fuck.
It's a nice counter
Yeah,
play.
it's dangerous. It's a really dangerous one.
Yeah,
As mentioned, I've only
Latias.
played. Sorry, bro. Do you want to talk about Latias?
Oh, you're good. You're good.
All right, I just wanted to say one thing about Porygon Z, and like this is my perspective as a 2020 player. I feel like Porygon Z never really got a lot of love, at least in the recent metagame that I've seen, which is kind of why I wanted to bring it up on this list to talk about. I feel like Porygon Z is one of those mons that people will look at and be like, this thing does not get used in OU. Like, you should definitely give it a shot in T1. But I do think it's like through the roof busted, and it's still, like you said, very good in OU. I feel like people in just like the PPO community doesn't respect it enough.
Yeah. So, what I was gonna say about Latias, I think it would be too much with all this around, just because of how much, just sheer utility and bulk and just it has everything. Like, Latias is one of those mons where you feel like it has everything it wants. It's just being held back by like, I guess its stats at this point, you know?
Yeah, no doubt.
Right.
And I honestly can't think of like a single thing that would like keep Latias well in check, other than like literally Scarf Crook. But like even Pursuit from Crook does not kill a Latias that's switching out.
Yeah, you can
It's
even
forced into a lot of 50-50s just with that. So,
dude, I think
it
you
would be
could probably
pretty risky.
wall Krook with Latias if you run no item.
And
That
people
would
do
be
that on
hilarious.
Celebi. Yeah.
People do that on Slowbro, and it pisses me off.
Yeah.
It's funny and it makes sense, but I hate it.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's kind of funny, but yeah, I 100% agree. I think Latias would be a little too much, and I often hear that one like being brought up over Hydreigon because you look at the base stats and you're like, "Damn, Hydreigon's such like this threatening menace." But
Dude,
I
Hydreigon is
honestly,
like Hydreigon's the
yeah,
most like neutral, like is it good or is it not Pokemon ever. This thing is like aggressively mid, but it's like it's good in UU, you know?
mm-hmm. What else did we not talk about here? Zam and King. I feel like we should talk about
Oh,
more.
yeah,
I feel like we
two.
actually
First
didn't
off,
talk about Azelf much.
true. So for
So
Azelf, why don't you talk about Azelf first? Yeah.
Azelf, I think, is just worse Starmie, in terms of how it functions in the tier. Like, I think it's pretty bad as a suicide lead. I think Kabutops and Aerodactyl are both better. I think as an attacker, sure, it has Nasty Plot, but I think Starmie just has more coverage and also has just a better typing. Honestly, water type makes you better as a Pokemon. Honestly.
Yeah, and in exchange for those, Azelf gains a 25 special attack. It's base 125. It's the same speed tier. It gains Levitate, which really doesn't matter to me. And the other thing it gains is Nasty Plot. So Nasty Plot is the one to look out for, I would suppose. Like,
Yeah, but it's
it
also
has a
way
lot
less
of
bulky.
like game breaking damage. You know, a 125 base special attack Psyshock is going to destroy AV users, and that's not gated behind like analytic boosts needed to like break those. But at the same time, you're missing out on that really key defensive typing and kind of forced to run sub and nasty plot on a set like that. So you can only really run 2 attack moves, and one of them has to be Psyshock.
Yeah.
It's also reasonably frail as well. So like in the conversation of like Latias being able to like take on Krookodile, I don't think the same would like apply to like Azelf in the same sense.
I agree. Like, that's why I think you really do need sub on the offensive Azelf sets,
Yeah.
unless you're Scarf.
Yeah.
Like, Smooge was bringing up Scarf before, which sounded kind of fun, but
Azelf is just so frail, man. Dude, like Krookodile's gonna sneeze on that thing, and it's gonna get sent to another dimension.
yeah.
Alakazam,
So for the
I feel the
last,
same.
yeah, Alakazam and King, I just want to quickly say, like, they're on this list because of Kiko Noel. Like, I watched his tier list analysis video. He had these on there. You're fucking insane, bro, for putting Gyarados and Salamence on this. Like, I'm not going to address that any further, but shout out to you. Like, I think these are not bad ideas.
Yeah, I think Alakazam is kind of in the same place as like Azelf and even Starmie. It's probably the best of the 3, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel
think
like
it is.
yeah, I think the ability to run up a sash that always works is really good. I think it being just a little bit faster than those 2 is also really good. But I think the problem with Zam is that it kind of has. It's just like it doesn't have enough, you know. I get. If that makes any sense.
So it has singular stab, kind of like Azoth. I guess it makes up for it slightly. Like Focus Blast coverage is really, really nice on Psychic types, if I can be honest, because
Yeah.
Psychic is resisted by Steel and Dark. You can't even use a Psychic move on a Dark type. Focus Blast is good for completing that coverage,
Yeah,
but
Focus Blast also makes you actively worse because Focus Blast never hits.
yes,
Like that's a legitimate argument. I'm not even gonna lie.
you personally have it down as yes here. I'm a little more on the fence about Zam because I feel like without something like Weavile to keep it in check, I'm a little scared.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say because without Weavile or Tyranitar, Alakazam just kind of like blows everything away, even with like a Sash. And like personally, I don't use Alakazam in the game that much because it doesn't have access to counter, and as Smooge said, Focus Blast which is too much. But I do think without those two mons, like Tyranitar and Weavile, it's like it sounds very dangerous on paper.
And I liked your point earlier, Smooge, where you said like if you unban Blissey, Zam gets stronger. Like that's setup fodder for Zam if Blissey's in the tier. Like the best thing Blissey can do is T-Wave it, and there are sub Zam sets that are picking up traction too in BQ right now.
I
so
saw Drini using that.
I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's a cool set.
Yeah.
All right, Nidoking?
Nidoking, yeah, sure.
I think it's just slightly better than Nidoqueen. I'm not gonna lie.
It's interesting because King has less flexibility, but it also kind of abuses sub better. Like that's kind of the extent of it. And why not? Like when T1 came out, I fully tried Timid Nidoqueen with max speed, max special attack, kind of like baby Nidoking. They're really not that much different. I don't feel like 85 speed is much more relevant than 76.
Yeah.
Not in this tier. Like
not only that, but like if you were to unban everything we have listed as yes here, like Nidoking wouldn't be that great.
I agree. Yeah, because immediately it's slower than everything, right?
And
Except Volcanion.
What? 1, 2, 3 more Psychic types in the tier, assuming Alakazam also is included.
2 if it's not.
You
I guess
pretty much be forced to run sub.
Even Hydreigon gives it trouble. Like all these Pokemon give Nidoking trouble, including Blissey.
Yeah.
Even Aloe.
Dude, I would totally try our Spidef Hydreigon too in T1.
Dude, Spidef Hydreigon is fucking fire.
I would try it, man. That sounds so fun. We didn't talk about Mew much, man. Like Mew is on the fence for me as well. Like I don't know, Mew is cool. It can be a mixed attacker, but is it that overpowered? I feel like if you unban a lot of this stuff, it's not.
Mew can be anything at once. Yeah, I guess that's Mew's biggest thing is that it's unpredictable, but it's held back by, I guess honestly, its speed tier is just, it's not bad, but it's not amazing. And then its power and bulk is just
it's power.
Yeah, it's literally just it's Mew.
I'd say the bulk isn't that bad for this tier, but like 100 base special attack or attack. I think you'd need like an analytic boost like Starmie just to like do some good damage.
Yeah.
But of course, Mew does have like setup moves to
it's a really
boost
good
that
utility one as well.
Yeah. So
now, I always have whack things to say about these sets, but I think the strongest set for Mew in the tier, like uncommon set that would be a big threat, is something like Rock Polish, Weakness Policy behind screens. I could genuinely see that being like insane, like Aura Sphere coverage to hit Krookodile, Thunderbolt for the bulky waters, then Psyshock, like just with like agility, literally no move to boost your special attack. Like
I could see Azelf being a good screen setter.
Yeah, Azelf being a good screen setter sounds pretty cool. Is it better than Meowstic though? That's even tough to say.
I would say yes because it gets rocks, and boom.
True. Fair enough.
And you.
But yeah, my arguments on these mons are so whack. Like Smooge just heard me talk about physical Volcanion and Hydreigon. I'm gonna save the audience, but
physical.
Well, we talked about physical Porygon.
Cool. I guess secondly, I brought that up, but whatever.
Yeah, but I respect it. Like all these sets are kind of scary because like even if you unban Blissey, you can't really say like Volcanion's kept in check, Hydreigon's kept in check, or Porygon Z are kept in check because all three of those can run like an insane physical set. Look, insane to some degree. I'm insane for speaking it, but like pretty good.
I think physical Volcanion's a meme.
I think physical fucking Porygon Z is a meme.
Of course it is, but I think physical Volcanion is a meme as well. I think it could definitely work, but I don't know. I feel like just using Flare Blitz actively makes you a worse Pokemon because you're killing yourself at the same time.
Didn't you run Modest Calm Mine Entei though?
Dude, that shit's fire. Well, actually, no. I run Calm. I run Calm.
I'm just saying.
Dude, Spicy Suicune. I'm not. Hold on. I'm not gonna take this slander. Where is
Fucking
it?
love it.
Where is he? Fuck you, I'm bringing Stall. I forgot. Racist team.
Thank God I don't care about monetization.
Yeah, Spicy Suicune right here. This is my Entei set. This shit is so fire. I've swept so many people in T1 with this thing. It's like it's unironically good. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think you're insane. I've seen this set.
There's a use for my 4 Enteis.
Dude, I saw you got a timid one, right?
Yeah, I got timid and modest.
Yeah, timid works. Timid is actually best for this.
Well, it's released now, so
unfortunate.
All right. Well, closing thoughts on these unbans and whatnot. Like, I think this picture we paint here could make the tier look a lot different, and honestly, maybe a little more diverse and fun to play. So it's something that should be considered. For sure. Like I said, I'm a little worried about some of these mixed attackers, like becoming unhealthy 50-50s, like predicting if Volcanion is going to go for a banded Flare Blitz or not. Like, okay, absolute meme, but part of me is scared when you bring in these strong mixed attackers, and there are unhealthy 50-50s, but I think there is some room to be played with here. And I would be open to unbanning Aloe and Blissey again if we can get some of these things. And I don't even necessarily think the tier is in a bad spot, but I also don't think these mons would make the other mons completely invalidated. I think they can live in harmony, quite frankly.
I feel like a tier with all these Pokemon unbanned is a perfect T1 tier.
It makes it actual UU. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
Right now, as you said before, it's like RU and UU mixed together. If we really want to go for that UU image, then these Pokemon are pretty, like, it's a step in the right direction.
I
totally agree.
My biggest thing on this list is definitely Hydreigon. I feel like this Pokemon of anything on this list, I feel like Hydreigon deserves to be here the most. And I feel
agree.
like Hydreigon is has always been like the face of UU, you know? And when I saw that we just didn't unban it, I'm like, bro, what the fuck?
I
couldn't believe it.
I think Kingdra's a shoe-in. Okay, let's say, like, fuck Smogon, let's unban Kingdra. Like, Kingdra is, like, probably the most, like, questionable ban out of all these. And then, after we address that, Hydreigon, Mew, and Azelf is kind of what I would want to see out of these. Like, I'm just terrorized by Volcanion. But Volcanion 5th, whatever. But, like, it's there. And then unban the other two. Pink Blobs that just got banned.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts you got, Shades?
Honestly, I think we've went over it pretty well. Like, you've taken the words right out of my mouth. Basically.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, in terms of the T1 tier as a whole and what we currently have, I think we all agree that the tier really isn't in like a bad spot where something's clearly unhealthy. Like Crook or Sharpedo probably being the best mons in the tier, but I don't think either of them really need a ban to be addressed.
Right, yeah.
And then we kind of have this other point where we are getting bans and unbans. And if you don't know, Pokemon Planet does not have a PvP console. And part of me is like a little on the fence about it because you really have to like talk to people that are in charge of these bans and unbans to get your opinion across about what you think would be right for the tier. And there's not really like an official way to do this other than making forum posts that you don't know if they're going to be read or not. So it's kind of just up in the air of a few people that you don't really, I guess what I'm trying to say, it's not the most official way to be making these bans and unbans. And I think we're kind of at the point where we can talk about potentially making a PvP console with some reservations here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that a PvP console is a good idea, but I think it needs to be done carefully. Like you need to obviously you need to pick people to be on it, and I think that's like the most scary part of having a PvP council is about who's on it, because if you get the wrong people, people will always be paranoid that there's a lot of bias, or that people are just like, hey, we hate Weavile, fuck Weavile, Weavile's banned, you know. That's what happened in Poke 1.
Yeah. Man, that's just so funny to me.
But yeah, basically, I think it's a good idea if done well. I am from Pro, so I'm also on their PvP council, which we have one. I should have started with that, but yeah, our PvP council works. I wouldn't say perfectly, but it works well. We are currently suspect testing a Pokemon that was added to the game.
It's a fucking Digimon, bro.
It's not a Digimon. It's basically it's a baby form of Shadow Lugia. A lot of people are on the fence about it, but
Oh my gosh.
anyway, it has nothing to do with this.
That video is
but
sweet.
yeah.
Go check it out. Yeah. How do people get appointed to be on that PvP console, Smooge?
We all the people who are on it initially get the vote on who gets in and who doesn't. So every time someone leaves, like, we start looking for people.
Okay.
As for how we got on there in the first place, I don't remember how I think it was like a community kind of.
Do people get removed for inactivity? Like, is there someone like kind of in charge of the PvP console?
Yeah. So we have a guy named Joro. He's in charge of it. He's the council leader basically, and he decides, like, if people get removed for inactivity or just being really bad or something,
For sure. And I think that would be like a good thing to take into consideration. We have Anabisius, who's our most active moderator, our global moderator, rather. He kind of oversees the staff as a whole. I think he would be a good candidate to kind of fill that role and maybe get one of these started up.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm crazy for saying this, but I think either Anub or you would be a perfect fit for being the lead.
Oh boy, come on, man! I'm a baby to the community, but
you gotta put all that.
Everyone respects you as a PvPer, though. That's what you really need as a council leader kind of thing. I guess I could say the same for me, maybe, but like I don't really see myself as a leader.
That's let's just get all three of us. Let's just but I like it. No, for sure.
We can just start out from.
I mean, hell, I have time. I could definitely do. So I'll volunteer myself.
Let's just create our own clan.
Listen, Anub. I know you watch this, Anub. So like, listen, if you want to talk about a PvP council, me and Tyler, and I guess Shades. We're always we're down, bro.
Yeah, just start a group DM. Just like send us a friend request,
we could
man.
figure something out. It's something that could definitely be done, and I think it's a good idea, especially for like the future of the game. We're heading towards mega evolutions, soon TM, but
yeah.
But once they happen, you kind of I feel like you want people to be able to decide where they go, other than just you, because like I don't really know how to explain it. But you want multiple people's opinions, that's how like a PvP council should be.
I feel like the game has been like super stagnant for a while, right, man? And like these T1 changes have kind of opened the door that change is possible within the game, and we can make balance changes based on what the community wants. And I think it's just a really good look for the community and the game as a whole if there's kind of a group of people that can be trusted with decisions. So if there is a questionable decision made, it doesn't all fall on one person. Like, people don't blame that one person for making a quote unquote bad decision. Like, it can kind of be a group and they can discuss it as a group officially.
Yeah, and when you're a group, you can easily decide or easily realize, hey, wait a minute, we made a mistake. Let's undo this.
Yeah.
Whereas one person, they just might be a stubborn guy and be like, no, I think this is right. Fuck everyone else.
Yeah.
So I think that's the reason this has come up in this video and it hasn't really come up in other videos, because the game is changing. And like you said, like, megas are around the corner and those might need to be addressed, soon. And you might need people in the mix to really help make those decisions. So I don't know. Leave a comment if you want to see a PvP console. I think if there's any like call to action in this video, man, I think getting discussion started on a PvP console is kind of the move.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it'll lead this game in a better place.
And
Speaking of,
I totally agree with Smooge's point that it really depends on picking the right people to be on this council. So there's not like any like corruption, I guess. Like I guess I'm like repeating points that have already been said, but like I can't reiterate that enough. Like that's like something that's like a prerequisite in creating something like that was.
And then part of being a healthy PvP console too is removing people if they're kind of abusing that power or having bias. Like you really need people in charge to make sure that this is not biased and this is what's actually right for the game. And even if you promote the wrong person, like the PvP console isn't exactly doomed as long as there's someone in charge that can remove those people that are creating biased things in the game and making the game worse. Like,
yeah.
I think it's definitely worth a little test run to see what happens. And if Smooge said this before the recording, if it doesn't work, burn it to the ground, like dead ass.
Like even if it doesn't work, like there's no shame in like shutting it down because at least it tried, you know.
Yeah, like at least
because like if you never try, you'll never know if it'll actually work or not.
Speaking of megas around the corner, guys, I do want to talk about maybe they could be in T1.
Yeah. So when T1 first got announced, Brody said that there would be no megas in T1 because it was supposed to be a T3 thing. But now that we don't have T3, where are megas going to go? So
I do want to say, and I told you this before the recording too, but just so the audience knows, initially the plan for this was for T1 to be a UU, T2 to be OU, and T3 to be added back and be an OU with megas.
And I want to say that that's really stupid. You should just have megas in both tiers, because what the hell is the point?
And I also think after we've played with the 2-tier format, I think the time restriction is not that bad. Like a 3-tier, I don't really play Clan Wars every weekend, so maybe I'm not the best person to speak on this, but Clan Wars is a pretty big time commitment with 3 tiers. I think 2 tiers is kind of healthy, but I don't know. That's kind of maybe my own personal opinion and not fact.
I play every weekend, and I can definitely agree that 2 tiers is just better. I also played when there was 3 tiers every week, but I just have nothing in life to do, so.
I think part of people also is scared that if we add megas to every single tier, people are going to think some of that PPO charm is gone, where they think, oh, now I can't even play PPO without megas. Now it's just like every other game in Showdown. I thought the meta was unique, but I do have to say, kind of in a small, like humble, friendly way, like suck it up. Like this has been coming.
Argument. I think Pokemon. I think it's supposed to be played with megas. Like I feel like every. How do I explain this?
It was the best gimmick that they've added.
Yeah,
like
it was the best gimmick for sure. And it just feels weird playing Pokemon without megas nowadays. I don't know.
I think there's
just ways. I've played so much more.
I think you can play without megas in other places, though. It doesn't have to be in PPO. Like, if we want PPO to progress and get better, people always, fuck around and they're like, this game is never updated. Well, if you want it to get updated, then part of that is including megas in PvP, and that's just not one tier or battle queue. That should be universal, to be honest, except for Little Cup, but...
Yeah, I just think, like, a huge mechanic being added like that, it's supposed to be... a huge part of the game. Why would you not add it to like one of the biggest things in the game? It just doesn't make sense to me. Like especially in T1.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, given the power level of T1, I think there's megas that fit into T1 where some are clearly too much. Okay, we don't want Megazard X or Y in T1. We don't want Meta. I always fuck this up, bro. It's Metagross.
Yeah,
Mega Swampert. Yeah, Metagross. I never get it right. And then the Megalodi twins. We don't need any of that in T1, but there's some that we can definitely let in right away. Mega Aerodactyl, Mega Sceptile, Mega Pidgeot, Mega Beedrill, Mega Steelix, Mega Aggron. These feel like UU mons to me that we can have in the tier.
Not only do they feel like it, they are. Like, they've always been UU.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, no, like, if we go off Smogon a little bit, which we say in other points, like, we don't have to go off Smogon for everything. They've been tested in the tier with similar mons and they're healthy, they're fine. They should be given a chance. We shouldn't be banning them outright because we only want megas in one tier. I think it makes sense to let them in T1.
Yeah, and T2 for that, because
For that
I
matter.
feel like a 2-tier system is just so much better, honestly. And I hope Brody realizes that once like the time comes around.
I will say that it was his initial announcement, and based on me talking to Anub a few times, like it sounds like megas will be in T1 for the record. So a lot of this conversation was just like to get our points across, and that's cool.
That's good.
I think he's been rethinking that anyway, but I do know that's how he initially described it at one point.
Yeah.
Also on that note, like if T3 came back and it was doubles, I think that's another thing Brody wanted to do. What would you think about that for the record? Like kind of unrelated, but
see, I wouldn't. Okay, here's the thing. I know a lot of people wouldn't like it, but at the same time, it's tier 3, and you technically don't have to play it. Like, there's nothing really stopping you from just saying, I don't like doubles, I'm just not gonna play it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's more work for clan leaders and stuff, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of them also agree, where a lot of people just don't like doubles. But for those who do, like, you know, you get something more out of it. You get more clan tokens, obviously, but
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think
I
that
feel
would
like
be a
there's
better
technically-
solution.
I feel like
Yeah.
there's technically no downside to actually having a tier 3 doubles, other than people just, it would be less played. But at the same time, there's technically nothing wrong with that.
And
Yeah,
there's
like
an
you
audience
said
that would
before.
prefer it. Yeah, you shades.
As you said before, you just have to suck it up. Like, if you don't like it, just don't play it.
Yeah, and
I
there's
think-
literally no downside to not playing it.
At the bare minimum, keep the 2-tier system where you have T1 with megas, T1 UU with megas, T2 OU with megas, and then consider a T3 doubles if we're going to go back to T3. Don't lock megas to, T3. We have some mons, though, that maybe aren't, like, it's clear-cut if they should be banned or not in T1. Like, in terms of mega Pokemon, like Mega Manectric. What do you think about Mega Manectric in T1?
So,
I think
okay. Oh, you can go.
I think with Intimidate, and then as well as like its super high speed tier and super high special attack, it would be. I don't really know. Like, it would be pretty strong. Would it be like Raikou, but like just a bit better? Or
It's
what do you guys-
base 135 with Intimidate, so it's kind of scary. Yeah. It also gets Flamethrower.
Yeah, it's got good coverage and it's way fast.
I mean,
So-
fuck that. It has Overheat too. Yeah, and it's faster than Crobat.
So I guess I could do this on video. So, my opinion, I don't think it would be. I think it would definitely be like one of the best mons in the tier, but I don't think it would be broken. I would honestly put it like right here, right behind Krookodile. I don't think it would be crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting because stuff like Scarf Crook will still keep it in check, but like also Manectric can also switch into Crook, like locked into Earthquake. If it's like Intimidate Crook and Intimidate Mega Manectric, not that you would want to, but like Manectric can win that 1v1 because after Intimidate it can take the Earthquake. Like,
Yeah.
it's bulky with Intimidate. It's kind of interesting. Like, it'll definitely be one of the best mons in the tier. It might be worth a shot. It might be too much.
It's really hard to tell.
For sure.
'Cause I know.
What about Mega?
Yeah.
I know in Gen 6 OU it was OU, or well, just Gen 6 it was OU, but I feel like it was there because of usage, not because it was too good.
Sure.
'Cause, it was actually pretty good, like in OU, because of the metagame just being relatively, I guess, slow. You know. It was really good for Volt Turn.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, Gen 6 was big on Volt Turn. So we'll see. It's kind of more on the fence, a little more discussion to be had, and it would be something that would be cool to test. Mega Heracross, what do you think about that?
I think Heracross is too much. I feel like there's
That
nothing
thing
that can
has,
stop it reliably.
highest attack stat behind Deoxys attack. So wait, is it actually stronger than Deoxys attack? I don't know.
I think
Shit,
it's
it might
actually.
be.
We go to anything.
I think it
closer.
might be.
A 185 base attack.
That's
Highest
stronger.
attack. It's right behind Mega Mewtwo X.
Like, that is so
it has
strong.
second highest attack.
And 75 base speed is not that bad, especially like
in the tier that we have right now.
Wait, it's actually not bad at all. Yeah.
It's actually fucking
Like-
stronger than Mega Rayquaza. That's crazy.
You think of like Emboar as kind of being a slow breaker, and that's like
Yeah.
base 123 attack with 65 speed. Like, and then look at these base stats. Like, hello.
Dude, I always
And
forget
it
how
has access to,
strong
like high
Kartana
base
is.
power moves with like pin missile, like hitting 5 times every single time.
Yeah, basically,
And
it
then
just has like
plus combat.
125 base power moves, and that's stupid. On top
Me
of
and
its attack
Shadowfront.
set.
Yeah.
Huh?
What?
What are you gonna
Oh.
say?
I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
say me and Shadowfront's favorite Pokemon, Granbull. That's not even gonna stop this thing.
Oh my god.
Actually, I think
Yeah.
it does.
Do you think it does?
Dude, Granbull's kind of crazy.
awesome
You know,
stuff.
hold on, we're calculating it. Granbull,
Full defensive.
defensive,
Yeah.
Heracross, Swords Dance, close. Holy shit! Never mind. Wait.
It doesn't stop it. Wait,
Intimidate.
Intimidate.
Okay, it does. It
Intimidate,
does.
You gotta get intimidated.
That's a fine stop. Wait, there's
It's pretty decent.
there's a solution. Play rough doesn't kill.
Yeah, just don't get SD'd on the switch in.
Yeah, facts.
Wait, it has to be +2.
It would be +1. Yeah. So.
Well, no,
That-
it's
this is
+2 because Intimidate's procced.
Yeah. Okay. You hit the little check mark. Okay, I see. Well, there's like half a solution.
I still think that if this was added into the game and like people would be forced to run Pokemon like Granbull, and I don't think that's pretty healthy. I don't think that's very healthy. For...
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna show you guys a trick right here. Watch this shit. Heracross.
Okay.
I could show you all of its walls. You know, I'll even put on what other moves is this thing? Rock Blast, Pin Missile. What else? Bullet Seed.
Bullet Seed.
Let's see.
So Bullet Seed, and then I click the UU button, uncalculate, and I know it's all white because it's my showdown, or it's my
Oh,
plugin.
but these are the sets. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see. Oh, let me filter it from KO chance. Hold on. Damn it. So, Aegislash is the only thing taking hits, and it doesn't work in our game.
Great.
Everything else is getting 2 KO'd, man. That's crazy. Except Buzzwole.
Yeah,
but
so-
that doesn't exist.
That's like existing Heracross, but just stronger.
So next up on the list, man, we have Mega Gallade and Mega Gardevoir. I hate to always put these two together, but I feel like you can't really talk about one without the other, especially because we were going to talk about Gallade and people would ask where Gardevoir is. I think these are maybe too much.
For sure. I think
Yeah.
Gallade is in like the same position as Heracross. It's just too much.
Yeah, and Gallade's fast as hell too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
It's
not,
110. So
yeah,
Yeah.
it's fast and strong. You know, it's better Heracross, honestly.
yeah,
And then Mega Gardevoir, it is basically a worse Mega Alakazam, but like I think even like for you, it's still gonna be a bit much, even especially with that fairy coverage.
Yeah,
true.
it's
Fairy
quite-
coverage is big.
It's quite literally an upgrade of Gardevoir. Crazy.
I
Yeah.
mean, also with Pixelate, you can draw comparisons between this and Sylveon, like just a little bit, but now you have reliable Psyshock spam, which is kind of scary. Like Psyshock coming from Spec Sylveon isn't that bad because it's not Stab Psyshock, where Gardevoir's is.
Mm.
Look at this. Hyper Voice to Blissey is doing. Okay, now it didn't do as much as I thought it would, but Psyshock's 2 KOing almost after rocks.
After rocks, yeah, it's there. It's there. I mean, you
Yeah,
can
well, it's
easily
self-guaranteed
make this
to
thing
do.
modest, though. Like in my opinion,
Yeah, it doesn't need its speed that much.
like you can justify this, and now it's a 2-hit KO after rocks.
Yeah, basically. PPO bulk.
And that
Yeah.
limits its check. So I think both of these are too much. Now, Smooge, I know you're waiting to talk about this one, man. The very last thing on the list here before we get into the actual tier list. Yeah, go for it.
Mega
Sharpedo.
Sharpedo. So, I think this thing fits perfectly in UU. So, you might be thinking, but you just said Sharpedo's the best mon in the tier. Why would this not be broken? Here's the thing, right? So, by losing Life Orb, Liquidation and Earthquake, well, that's okay. So, I run Liquidation Earthquake Crunch on my Sharpedo, but removing your Life Orb from Mega, Liquidation and Earthquake actually get considerably weaker. Like, I can show you. So, Sharpedo, Cleaner, Life Orb. I'm just not even going to put Earthquake. I mean, Liquidation. But you can see Earthquake is doing about half to Blissey, right? But with Sharpedo Mega, the same set, it's doing like 8% less.
That's shocking, yeah.
However, Crunch is doing more.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Crunch.
Crunch kind of being the exception, of course.
Am I crazy?
But
yeah, Crunch is doing way more. But here's the thing.
yeah, for sure.
So I obviously use Sharpedo myself every single weekend. Crunch is easily the move I click the least. Liquidation is really what's makes Sharpedo really good. So that's why I think I actually believe that Life Orb Sharpedo might be better than Mega.
Well, and then here's the thing too, like you lose your speed boost of Mega evolving. Like I guess
so you
that's
can
like
never
kind of
switch
a
out.
given. Mm-hmm.
Because Mega Sharpedo is only isn't it only base 95?
It's not much faster, yeah. We can see.
Oh, it's 105.
105. Speed ties Mienshao, but I mean, if you're gonna run Jolly to like speed tie Mienshao or something, like you're losing even more damage.
Yeah. So like Mega Sharpedo just kind of has the problem of being too it only has it boosts one move, you know, and sure your Crunch might get super strong. Like you could probably Oko shit like Mienshao with a little bit of chip with Crunch, but just losing like Liquidation and Earthquake power is crazy. Like, look at this. This is barely 2-KOing Blissey. Like, it can actually stall you out, theoretically, out of Liquidations.
Mm-hmm.
Crunch, though? No, fuck that.
Of course. And the other thing is, like, you know, the Mega versus Life Orb Sharpedo. I find that Life Orb Sharpedo can kind of come in more than once into a game and terrorize things, and part of that is
because it's
usually... Yeah, usually abusing speed boost, where Mega Sharpedo is kind of going to be forced to be used as exactly one role, and that's a finisher. And even more specifically, through a Crunch finisher, like on that note. So,
yeah. It literally says right here it's a cleaner, you know? Like, this thing is supposed to clean up games, not, like, break. But Sharpedo normally, I guess it doesn't really say, like, there, but... Just Life Orb Sharpedo is like, I bring it in whenever I need to kill.
Breaker.
Yeah, it's a super good breaker. And I guess I can bring it up now, but like if you look, like every single Pokemon from S to like A-, Sharpedo beats almost every single one easily. Like there's Chestnut, and then there's like
Porygon 2, Umbreon.
And even
That's
for Chestnut, you can just run Psychic Fangs. I personally run Psychic Fangs over Earthquake just because my teams are built to deal with the Steel types. And I think Psychic Fangs is still pretty good like coverage, and it deals with the Chestnut that may wallet.
Yeah, I don't really see Chestnut much, so I always run Earthquake for Empoleon. It kills Modest from full, so Empoleon.
Yeah, and then I guess Earthquake is better too now because of Raikou in the tier. Like that could be seen as something usable for Earthquake. And then on that note, so like Sharpedo can. Oh yeah, I remember we calced that. So, but it's nice if you don't take rocks damage. I remember we calced that too. So other things I was thinking. So like Chestnut can still get beaten by Psychic Fangs, and Porygon 2 and Umbreon have to be bold. They cannot be calm. Calm are going to be getting 2-hit or 3-hit easily.
I'm just calculating Chestnut real quick.
Sure.
That's the wrong thing.
It's I think it's like a clean to a KO. Should be at least.
Yeah, from Psychic Fangs?
Yeah.
It's close.
It's not that clean.
Oh.
So
Dang.
if you have one spike up, it's it's closer. If you have a spike,
I guess I've been getting by with PPO IVs all this time.
Yeah.
True. People like running their World Boss 1-2 in there, so it's going to be adamant.
Dude, I think speaking of World Boss, I think I'm just going to make a World Boss guide and say fuck it.
Fuck it. Best of luck.
Man.
Hey, I think we should get a move on to the next subject though.
Yeah. What was it?
All right. So
Tier
the meat
list.
of this is going to be the tier list analysis here. So we're going to be going through this tier list and giving thoughts on every single Pokemon. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. This video is already an hour long. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of, briefly go through S to A minus. I do not
B
want to
plus.
give these B plus and down mons like very much attention at all. I think
so
once we get to B plus, we should just say the tier, and if you want to bring up a mon in it, like feel free to do so.
Yeah, so I basically rebuilt this. It's just 2 of them, but this one we can move around stuff. So that's basically why we have this, because Raikou, for example, we're oops.
Dude, just keep it. Just keep 2 of them. Just keep
2 of them. All right, this is the Raikou tier. This mon is ass. And you know who else can go here? You know who else can go here? Is my boy Jolteon.
All right with his brother.
Right with his brother.
Like, Shades, you actually brought Raikou recently to tourney. How did you, like... It doesn't feel that good to
got
you.
destroyed. The thing was, I brought HP Grass because I thought people was going to bring, like, more Seismitoad and Swampert just because of, like, the Starmie and stuff. And it, like, completely fucked me over because he brought Gligar. And I didn't have anything to beat it with.
And it makes sense. I mean, I played Raikou in another game recently, too. Like a scrim game. And my opponent had Swampert, and I brought HPI, so...
Yeah, like, I think there's a lot of limitations on Raikou and how, like, what moves it can run. And I think that's what makes it, like, a bit worse than the other guys in the X tier.
Yeah, and it makes sense. So like when we made this tier list here, which these are kind of a community project, I invite a few people to a Discord server from a bunch of main clans and we discuss it. So even though we're going to share some opinions that are ours, the tier list you're seeing is more of a community group project. So that's why Raikou's an S and why we're going to shit on it. But yeah, essentially, I think Raikou still can be considered like a strong mon to prep for right now, but I don't think it's going to stand the test of time.
Yeah, basically the point of this right here is so we can move stuff around and kind of make our own version.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Krookodile, I think, should stay exactly where it is. I think Krookodile is definitely it's the best mon in the tier. But I think Sharpedo is a very close second.
Yeah, and the thing is with Krookodile, like there are so many sets it can run. I feel like if anything, the tier changes kind of hurt it, like in a funny way, because now it's more tempted to run speed control, so it can be Scarf and catch up to Raikou and Starmie. But if you look past those changes, there's viable band sets. You can run Intimidate Black Glasses with rocks, and then that set would be like Crunch, Knockoff Pursuits, or Earthquake, like kind of like three dark moves plus Black Classes is pretty cool.
Yeah. And I think Sash is also a pretty good set as well, just for like a lead maybe.
And on top of that, it kind of has like 2 good abilities too, right? Like Intimidate is really important for that lead, and you can also use Intimidate on Scarf, but Moxie is like a very end game cleaner that can be threatening.
I see you putting all the electric types in the same tier.
Yeah, I'm putting his friends in there with him. Electric type.
Who's next?
D1.
Did you put Heliolisk in there yet?
No, I can't.
We're missing
find him.
Heliolisk. All right, whatever.
No. You know what? Hold on. I'll say it. Galvantula sucks.
Worse than Electivire?
Electivire, he can go down here too.
All right, perfect. I just wanted. What's Aegislash doing there? What the fuck, bro?
Hey, he deserves it.
All right. Do you have anything else to add about Crook other than kind of begrudgingly saying it's the best mon in the tier?
It just has so much it can do, and that's why I think it's better. But
yeah,
it's kind of like how Landorus is, you know.
Yeah.
If you played Smogon, or like just any generation from 5+, Landorus has always been like the king of OU, and oh my god, I keep dropping things. Krookodile is kind of like that for our UU tier.
I've been hearing that, by the way. Like forks, or what the hell are you doing?
He just got forks. He's like eating pasta.
No, I'm just playing with stuff on my desk because I'm crazy. But
I get you.
Yeah, Krookodile is definitely that.
I agree. Yeah. So Sharpedo, you put this a lot higher than how the community tends to rank it. And I think you went over a lot of the points, but what makes you exactly think it's like, so maybe let's skip over Shark a little bit. Like, with all due respect, you can go back to it if you want, but what makes you think it's better than Mienshao, for example?
I think it's just a much better breaker and cleaner.
The thing is, Mienshao also relies on high jump kick. Do you kind of put that as a detriment in your head with Mienshao? Like the fact it doesn't get close combat?
It's high enough accuracy where I don't think it's really a big detriment. Like, more often than not, you're obviously landing it.
But it can also be like punished hard by Protect, which I think is relatively common in T1.
Yeah, especially against Sharpedo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Sharpedo actually takes advantage of Mienshao so much.
Yeah, true.
One, because I get to see what you're going for, and two, because you just can't click high jump kick.
Yeah, you literally cannot click high jump kick. You have to click U-turn or knock, usually.
I also run a team of double Protect, so maybe I'm just super biased, but...
No, I think Protect is insane in T1 though. Like, yeah. I think it's everywhere. Like, Mienshao being this high despite the amount of Protect kind of shows how good that 105 speed tier is, momentum, all that kind of good stuff.
And just power with the Life Orb, and also like Regenerator. Just
yeah, true. Those are two good sets. Like, you can run Life Orb Regenerator with Fake Out, or you can run Scarf. You tend to be a Life Orb guy.
Yeah, I run Life Orb because it's just very strong. Like, if rocks are on the field, there's almost nothing that can really switch into a high jump kick other than the ghost types, and the most prominent ghost types in the tier are like Mismagius and Hoopa, which
and Doublade.
And Doublade, yeah.
But Doublade doesn't want to get knocked, so.
So
first off, Smooge, move Bibarel down to Raikou tier. I'm absolutely not discussing it as part of S.
I mean, I did get swept by his Bibarel. Like,
all right, well, maybe for the personal salt, we can keep it an S.
Oh, I put it there as a joke.
Yeah, I know.
My dad came in, so I was muted for a second.
Is he gone?
Yeah, he's gone.
All right, get the fucking stupid beaver out of here. What do you think about Starmie? So you say like Sharpedo's just better, but I guess I brought up a lot of the pros with Starmie, like rapid spin utility, a potential to run a defensive set, but
I don't think Starmie is that good.
I think it's pretty great. I think the tier needed like a rapid spinner, and the best thing that you got was like Tentacruel. So Starmie being in the tier just opens up that like it's easier to team build now because we have like a strong rapid spinner to work with.
Yeah, true. It's like an offensive spinner, which is pretty cool because it's not like a spinner that'll be set up on like him on top, for example, that literally like only has the role of checking physical attackers. I would say Starmie like is S tier for me, but Smooge, would you like move it out of S tier for you? Like,
I would put it at the lowest bottom.
Yeah, the lowest I could see it is like staying in S at the bottom, but
like I would put it right here. I think Feraligatr probably moves down as well.
Yeah, I mean that's possible. I think Gator got better with the tier changes though, with Aloe gone.
I think it got better, but I don't think it's S tier, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Right at the top of A, like
I think its problem is that it doesn't really get many chances to set up on like a hyper offense built like metagame. I guess this is for Clan Wars, but I guess in other like as you said like tourneys and stuff, it's still pretty good just to have, and it's always like a threat on team builder as well.
Yeah, for sure. And like the ability for it to run Sword Stance instead of Dragon Dance is like even scarier in tournament than against Clan Wars where it's all offense, where you really need the +1 speed. Tourney format Gator's pretty good. I could definitely see it. Like, Gator has this thing where I feel like in early metas, it destroys it because people still haven't like perfected their building and all their teams just get swept by Gator. But I feel like as the tier ages, Gator gets worse over time. Almost universally, when T1 came out last time, everyone thought Gator was the best mon in the tier, like even better than Shao and Crook. And then over time, people like even considered, again, shout out Kiko Noel, he literally thinks this thing is like B+ tier. So, you know, you can kind of see it for sure. Like over time, offense teams punish it.
It just goes to show like how you can think
Pokemon is like amazing on paper, and then it just turns out to be like horrible. Like a similar one is like Rotom. Like I remember like when the tier first
Right.
started, Rotom was gonna be like super amazing because it like at like check to Croak and stuff like that, and it's just nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, no, it's like it's a rare Volt Switcher that can actually like punish Crook with an OKO. Like Crook really cannot
Yeah.
switch into it can't Volt block a Rotom, but like things like that on paper sometimes skew when the tier actually develops.
Yeah.
Now moving on to Nidoqueen, I think Nidoqueen's actually really, really good. I think it stays right there, Smooge. You better
agree.
not move her. Like
It's great.
Queen is awesome, and if anything, I feel like max HP Nidoqueen got a lot better. Like max HP Nidoqueen is going to always be checking Raikou that's not running extra sensory. So I think that opens up opportunity for like Bold Queen to kind of make a comeback. It checks a few attackers like Scarf Mienshao, for example.
Yeah.
And it can survive a liquidation from Sharpedo, which is not something you want to do, but like
Great.
that's kind of a testament to its bulk.
Yeah, and even then, like timid Nidoqueen is still pretty great. Like especially in like mirror matchups, and even like against Feraligatr. Like most people in the game, I guess, don't really have like max speed Feraligatr, and you can really get the jump on that with the timid Nidoqueen.
I don't
Yeah,
need
you can
hangers.
fry
I don't
them.
have anything in my closet to hang them on. What are you giving me hangers
He
for?
was told to give you hangers.
I don't have anything to put them on. Just take them back.
He was told to give you hangers.
No, don't give me hangers. I
I'm gonna
literally
give you
don't
a
have
high
anything
toe.
in my closet for
Bro.
hangers to go on.
I'm gonna give
Bro,
you
I
a
want the
high toe.
hangers. I need some hangers.
Take the hangers
Pass 'em.
out. Go away. Go away. I'm in the middle of recording. Go away.
Dude, you know what changed my life one day? Like, I was using boring white
Close my
hangers
door.
in my closet, and my mom once brought me black coat hangers, and I was like, holy shit, my world is turned upside down. Like, coat hangers can be a different color other than white.
Oh my gosh. Sorry for that interruption.
Dude, that was flames.
Dude. My sister literally brought in like probably like 100 hangers in my room. I don't have,
100's a lot.
dude. I don't have shelves in my closet where they hang from.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Just start hanging them up, like, put some tape on your ceiling. See how much the contractor likes it when they come tomorrow. All right, stop playing with this.
No.
You're having too much fun. All right, Entei is next. I think Entei is absolutely insane in the tier.
I think he's
So
fine
first
right where
off-
he is.
No, I agree. Like, I'm not trying to move it up or anything, even above Nidoking in this case, but Extreme Speed Entei is like a reliable counter to Sharpedo. Like, if you absolutely need to E-speed it in the end game, Sharpedo can take advantage of it and protect on Entei, and also go into like a normal resist, but there aren't many things that can catch up to Sharpedo's speed tier, if any. So I think Entei is really strong, let alone fire moves just being strong in the tier as a whole.
And Sacred Fire is just so spammable in this tier. Like you just click it, and if something gets burned, then something gets burned. Like there's no real downside aside from the miss on Sacred Fire.
Yeah, 50% chance to burn is just insane. And the fact that like it invalidates physical attackers from being a reliable check, really.
Yeah, like you switch into a Sacred Fire, get burnt, and you're automatically like down 5-6, basically. If it's like
True.
a Pokemon.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, Entei just has a lack of reliable switch-ins. That makes it really good.
And then also I'd say like a problem with Entei though is kind of its coverage, but it still has it. Like it has Stomping Tantrum, it has Stone Edge, but they're not the best coverage. Then again, you
Yeah.
don't really need it for its role.
No.
It's like definitely an interesting mon.
You can even run like double fire like moves on Entei. You can run Sacred Fire and Flare Blitz, and
I
think
do
the cool
that.
thing about Flare Blitz is like
Yeah.
it OHKOs Nidoqueen from full, and stuff like that. It's just so
Yeah.
strong.
And it doesn't miss.
Yeah.
A little more power too. So Celebi's up next. I think Celebi oddly like got better in the tier, even though Aloe used to be fodder for it. Like Blissey being gone frees up Celebi a lot.
Mm-hmm. And then you did say that people are starting to run no item Celebi for Crook.
Close my
Yeah, I've
door.
seen that in replays before. Like they're starting to sometimes drop the life orbs to be no item. It's a little questionable, but like it's an option you can run on it because it completely takes away like the 50-50 from switching out versus staying in against knockoff or pursuit. You can always
Mhm.
stay in and Giga Drain it.
Yeah.
That's not really a reason it got better, in my opinion. I think the reason it got better is strictly the fact that Blissey is gone.
Yeah, Blissey being gone just made it so much better. Like if there was a Blissey, your Celebi was basically just not good until you got rid of that Blissey, you know.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think about Celebi in the new tier Smooge?
So I really like Celebi. I haven't really had a chance to play it much, but I think it has a lot of bulk and a lot of really good coverage and power. It has a really good typing for the tier itself. It has good moves in Dazzling Gleam, Giga Drain, Earth Power, etc. And Calm Mind, obviously. I've wanted to try a Modest set, but I haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah, you should, and let me know how that goes. And I guess it has Nasty Pot too instead of just Calm Minds. Like its few deterrents are like no Psyshock is so awkward on it sometimes, but in terms of other reasons Celebi is so high up, it's not just like a Nasty Pot or setups set. It's kind of like what Smooge was mentioning. You can run like a bulky Modest set and dish out a lot of damage. You can run Scarf Celebi. It gets Healing Wish, it gets U-Turn, so it's kind of interesting. Leaf Storm is rarely seen on like setup sets, but it's really good on Scarf.
Yeah. I was wondering like how like a defensive Celebi set would do in this tier because it does get Stealth Rock, it gets U-Turn and Recover. So
It's definitely just like interesting. I think like it can work. It can definitely work. Stealth Rock is another big thing. Like whenever you make a viability rankings or tier list, like you have to always like appreciate those sets too. Like honestly, I think Celebi can be maybe better than Entei. Like now that I've like actually talked about it, or I think Celebi could be like even a top 5 mon in the tier because King isn't supposed to be here. But
All right, you guys talk. I have to be right back and yell at my sister. I'll be back.
yeah, that's cool.
Cool.
How much longer are you sticking around for Shades? You good still?
Yeah, I got like 15, 20 more minutes.
All right, cool. I think Sylveon got a lot better, dude. Like,
I love Sylveon.
so the thing is with Sylveon is it's naturally bulky enough, especially on the special side, to check like these new special threats naturally. And like all you need to do is run max HP. Like anything else you do is completely up to you. So you can run like max HP Modest Specs and be a breaker, or you can be bold or calm and be a wish support cleric. Like the possibilities are low-key kind of endless with Sylveon because it just has like so much natural bulk.
Yeah. And I really like a spec set because like now that paired with Sharpedo actually, because Manaba seems like it's like sees itself switching in a lot of the times, and I can just punish that with like a specs type of voice. And there's not really any like good switches other than Empoleon that can really deal with that.
Scavalier, but you can run HP Fire, which I think is good.
So it's strong, like it's very strong.
You don't even really need Psyshock anymore. So Clash was showing me this calc where Specs Hyper Voice to AV Snorlax only does like 3 to 4% less than Specs Psyshock to it.
Damn.
Like you don't even really need Psyshock anymore.
Welcome back.
There's maybe 300 hangers on my bed.
Dude, it sounds like you're gonna have a fun party tonight.
I have nowhere to put them. My mom just wants me to put them in my closet, but I can't hand them out. I don't have a pole.
We'll have a group therapy session after this, and I'll help you figure out what the hell to do with 300 hangers. Okay?
300 turns.
300 turns.
I'm about to turn my camera on and show everyone this shit. Hold on. Is my camera plugged in?
If it is, this is about to get lit.
All right, hold on. It is not. Let me plug this in.
I'm about to literally make a timestamp for all the thirsty hoes watching this video. Smooge turns on his camera, some hot face
Let's
emojis.
see.
Smooge turns on his camera, not clickbait. For real?
Video capture device. It's not turning on. I'd have to reopen OBS, so never mind.
Aww. We'll just have to like attach a picture in the comments or something. I'll
large
actually
amount of
add this
hangers.
in editing. Bro, if you take a picture of it and send it to me, I'll edit this in. No cap.
Yeah, I got you.
Alright, no cap. We talked about Gator. Do you guys have anything else to add to Gator here?
Not really. I think Gator's just kind of there. It's not bad by any means, but it's not like I don't think it's super.
What I find
crazy.
funny is that before, like this, like I'm a pretty big fan of Sharpedo as well, and I always made that comparison between Feraligatr and Sharpedo being like similar, like strong water types. I find it funny how now Sharpedo is seen as better than Feraligatr, and how that's like changed around over the changes.
Oh, and no being humble, by the way. I was talking to Smooge before this. Like, we 100% give you credit for, like, showing Sharpedo to the world, basically. It was you, bro, in the clusterfuck server.
Yeah.
Like, terrorizing people with Sharpedo.
I take credit for Kabatops, though. That was definitely me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I take credit for Granbull.
Granbull, man. My worst nightmare.
It always was too. Like, I bet you had instant PTSD from our scrims matches back in the day.
I saw that, I knew, like, oh my god, this is gonna be one hell of a battle.
Yeah, like no doubt Tyler made this.
Yeah.
All right, so Empoleon is next here. Now, I'm gonna also say, like, I popularized Empoleon a little bit, like the modest spec set, but like, or the modest lead set. Yeah. I'm gonna come out and say right now, like, no cap, you know, turn the mics up. Like, modest Sash lead is gonna suck in the new meta. Like, no cap, guys.
Yeah.
I think the meta changes were kind of bad to it. In terms of, like, I think there's just a lot more AV users that can actually switch into the Scald, first of all. And then the other thing is, I feel like there's more U-turn users, like Crobat and Noivern leads. You really don't want to be U-turned on into something, like, because then your Sash is broken. And then you can't kill what's in front of you. I think modest Sash and Empoleon is going to kind of suck in the new meta, so that's why it didn't go up.
And that's fair. Like, it's still pretty good as like a Spadefmon, but yeah, the Sash set just isn't that good anymore.
Yeah, I think it was definitely like at its peak old meta where AV users just didn't exist. Like, you were able to 1v1, you know, Fizz Def Mandibus so easily with modest Empoleon lead. It can never defog on you, but now it's kind of miserable, man. And then I would say the Ice Beam versus Grass Knot trade-off is even worse, because before, like, you used to use Ice Beam to want to hit Celebi and Noivern, and they were more rare, but now they're more common. And the water grounds are more common. So you literally cannot fit, like, Scald, Aqua Jet, Rocks, Ice Beam, Grass Knot all on your sets.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say Empoleon isn't, like, a total loser. Modest Specs is going to be very cool. But definitely not the Sash lead. Like, I'm one for Orange. Sash lead special is cancelled.
Wait, why are you putting up ID slash?
What do you mean?
And just ignore it. We're gonna get there, and Smooge is gonna pretend like he didn't change anything. He's gonna act all innocent, man.
Slowly moving it up.
Next is the GOAT, Noivern.
Dude, Noivern is the GOAT. I don't even think Smooge is fully convinced on Noivern's power, but
I used to be the same, actually. Like, I wasn't super convinced until I actually used it in Clan Wars, and it was just like, it was so reliable.
Defensive Noivern is definitely the new Crobat.
Yeah.
There is no doubt.
I don't know. I haven't really used it, so I can't really say much on it.
I think you gotta try it. So, like, obviously, Noivern's set that most people will recognize is the either a Life Orb or a Spec set, where you can abuse Infiltrator to revenge kill stuff like sub Raikou and sub Cobalion very easily behind the sub. Just don't let the Raikou set up like too many Calm Minds, man, and you can Draco that with Specs and kill it behind the sub. But where Noivern really shines IMO is like a bulky pivot role. It has the speed to be able to U-turn out on Starmie and Raikou, base 123 compared to 115, and its Dragon typing lets it check Fire types, which is something that Crobat cannot do. So you can switch into Banded Sacred Fire, Flare Blitz Entei, and Roostall him. And even if they go for a mix-up like E-Speed, it won't kill you. They have to go for Edge.
Okay.
Yeah, and I heard people aren't even running Edge that much, and they're opting for Stomping Tantrum for like the 1v1 with other Enteis.
Oh, that's interesting.
More
Like more
reliable.
reliable. I see.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
you
no.
also get green.
I don't really see Noivern that much, honestly. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, this one is probably like the surprising take of the video, but I think it's 100% justified. Like, this is the best Noivern meta that Noivern has seen, in my opinion. Just because like everything got more common that it can eat up, and the fact that like it's able to have defensive typing to switch into so many moves and U-turn out of all of its defensive checks. Like, if someone brings out an AV Snorlax or AV Reuniclus on your Noivern, which they won't maybe know what set it is, turn 1, you U-turn into Emboar or any physical attacker and you kill something.
Yeah.
It's really devastating, to be honest.
We're at 1.5 hours. You should probably start speeding up.
Sure, Slowbro, Entei check. It's also a really reliable Trick Room setter.
Also annoying. I hate Slowbro.
Yeah.
Yeah, Slowbro has the bulk to 1v1 Crook.
Yeah.
It's like the
I think
substitute for Alomomola.
I should probably clarify that. Like, Slowbro has the bulk to a 1v1 Scarf Crook, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like if any other Crook set comes out, then yeah, Slowbro can't 1v1 it. But yeah, Slowbro is really fat. Definitely. You said what about Alomomola Shades?
It's like the substitute. Like Alomomola was banned, so everybody just moved on to Slowbro because it was like the next best thing.
Yeah, true. It has other utility, like Thunderwave and Trick Room are a few good things, and Psychic Stab, but yeah, ultimately 100% agree. It's probably, this and Milotic are probably the two best Entei checks in the tier. Snorlax is next. It's definitely Snorlax meta. So many sets. Like, honestly, Snorlax is kind of a broken mon because it can run Curse, AV, Band, and like you cannot prep for any of those three if you just see one come out.
Okay, my
Yeah,
hot take
like-
of the video. My hot take.
That's not that much of a hot take, I think.
That's fair.
I can agree with this.
I think that thing is broken, man. I
It just
think
needs- it just needs a bit more time.
Curselax is like you can't prepare for it. You really can't. There's like
Yeah.
Quagsire, and even then you can get hacks down.
Bro, I use Banded Emboar. It's the only thing that kills +1 Curselax. Like that and maybe Banded Pangoro too. Like those two
actually,
maybe.
I think Blissey and Shell can do it.
Oh, really?
yeah.
At +1? That would be cool.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but yes, Snorlax, I'm not even going to ask you to move that. That's fine. Reuniclus is, I think, really good now because it's not just a Trick Room mon or like a Dual Dance mon. I think the AV set is really, really good now on Reuniclus. Can you stop this stupid sword? I'm going to ban you.
Dude, I just thought she's goated. I don't care what anyone says. You don't even need King Shield. Dude, Toxic Protect, sub. That's all
Bro,
you need.
so one moment you're like, it's an hour and a half, we should speed this up. The next you're like a little girl crying for attention with your little sword.
So, Reuniclus?
So yeah, I think Reuniclus is good though. I think as an AV user, it got a lot better. Reuniclus is fat, honestly, when it has an AV. It can switch into like even Boom Burst X Cloud specs. And you can knock off something using its bulk. And Reuniclus has Regenerator, which usually isn't like thought of. Usually it's thought of a Magikarp user, but Regenerator is really good on it.
Crobat?
Crobat,
The
I think it's a little worse
worst.
now.
I don't know. I think Crobat's good, but it'll never be S. It'll
Yeah.
always be good, but it'll never be really good. I think
Like,
it's fine
Crobat's-
where it is.
130
It's
base
soft.
speed is impressive, but
I think it's fine where it is. What do you think?
oh, I don't want to
Yeah.
move it. Yeah.
Okay. Now Swellow. Sheesh.
Hmm.
It used to be amazing, like very very early in the meta. It used to be like great, like just bring it in, click Boom Burst, and a kill.
Okay, that's my actual take.
Okay. Yeah, Swellow is kind of like a boom burst machine, and I feel like its speed is good because if we're gonna say Noivern is like A plus tier, Swellow kind of has to be high too because it checks Noivern, which is nice. Other than that, I feel like you're never clicking a move other than Boom Burst, and that's kind of the downfall of Swellow. Like Noivern can do so much more.
Yeah, I think Swellow just continues to fall off, and I think it's just gonna keep going down.
I don't know. I think
It's not bad, but it's not amazing at all.
realistically, I would put like Swellow right probably above Umbreon, below Venomoth, and A tier. Like that's
Really?
what my personal take would be. I think it's still an A tier mon because special attackers are good, and I mean it still has U-turn. It can still be like an important part of a core, but I actually think it's a tier below Noivern and Crobat. Like I just think like a fast U-turn is really, really good. That's kind of my take on the meta though.
Would you agree on the top of A plus?
I mean, I'm A minus. I'm fine with this. Like,
Or
it's,
A
it's
plus,
cool.
yeah. Actually, I think Stoutland's better.
Yeah, I think Stoutland's better too.
Yeah.
I think Embor's better.
Right.
Now that you're doing
Keep going
this,
down. Going down. Okay,
Fine.
I think this is late.
it's not better than Gardevoir.
all right.
Let's just keep it here. Keep going. Keep going. Heracross, what do you think? I think it's a little worse now. There's more revenge killers to it.
I think
It
I would
used to
put
be
below
amazing when
Cobalion.
Blissey and Alomomola were in the tier because it was like one of those mons that could like break through that core.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's still pretty good. It's just not as good as it was before.
Like Guts Heracross still has very few
Yeah.
switch-ins, and it definitely appreciates like fat AV users in the tier to kind of abuse like special walls, but it's not incredible because again, Raikou and Starmie are added and they revenge kill it.
Yeah, I think Cobalion's better than it, but only slightly. So I think it's just like right below it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mm.
I think Cobalion's really good, by the way. Have you seen the air balloon set, Smooge?
No.
Air balloon Cobalion's cool because like if Crook's usage is so high, like why not run air balloon Cobalion and pretty much force like a justified boost every game or a free switch into Crook on an earthquake?
Yeah, that's true.
Like the only move Crook can use to hit Cobalion is Superpower, which I use Superpower Crook over Edge now. But I'm not really saying that's what the meta does.
I've been using rocks. It really just depends on the team or what you run on the last slot on Crook.
Yeah, true. My thought on Superpower Crook is just literally to hit other Crooks in this Cobalion set, which I think is so replaceable that you can run Scarf Rocks. That's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah. But yeah, I think Cobalion's flexible. I think the sub Swords Dance set kind of sucks. I think you kind of have to go like all out attacker. Life Orb with Stone Edge seems really good to hit stuff on the Switch.
I like rocks. Volt switch.
Yeah, and then that set too, I think is really good.
I also like
I would
Taunt.
use that with the balloon.
Yeah, makes sense.
Rocks up for free like any game and have a little bit of offensive pressure with your +1 boost if you get it.
Yeah. Also, we never talked about Hippo, but I think it's fine right here just because of Sand. Honestly.
Yeah,
I agree, and as a standalone mon, I think it's really
It's
good
just
into Raikou as well.
Yeah. I think it's fine where it is.
I don't really have much to add other than the fact that people will be mad at me if I don't mention the fact that it's pretty damn good Spadef as well now too. Like as a special wall, it can be kind of hard to break, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like
for
it doesn't have to be a physical wall. Mandibuzz?
Mandibuzz,
I
I
think
think it's fine.
I would say that it could go up to A plus just because I see it everywhere and it is like pretty reliable and like both of its like Fizdef or Spadef sets and like at least checking the other threats in the tier.
I agree. And Mandibuzz also has things it can do, like U-turn and Brave Bird utility. Like I would consider those to be, and knockoff, like I would consider all those to be like good flex moves to run on Mandibuzz. You know, you can run Defog, Taunt, A tier. Is literally because PPO players don't run Brave Bird on it commonly, and I think Brave Bird is really, really good on
Yeah.
Mandibuzz because it otherwise makes it not so passive. I think Foul Play and Taunts are kind of worse into the AV users, and I would run Brave Bird to kind of hit stuff like Embor, Heracross switching into it, but that's just me.
Yeah. I think people like just automatically associate Mandibuzz with just like a passive Pokemon. and they don't
Yeah.
really think run like Bravery like how you would on Skarmory and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Hmm.
I think if I was to move it up, I would put it like right next to Hippo.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's definitely worse than Hippo.
Yeah, but usually you see these two get together, so I feel like it's just a good place.
And I think Mandibuzz is under a little more pressure now with Raikou and Starmie in the tier. Like,
Yeah.
it 100% is flexible to be Spadef. And even if you're Spadef, you can still check non-banded Croak, okay? So don't get it too twisted, but I also think depending on your set, it can be a little bit abused. And I guess I'll kind of just like end it there on the Mandibuzz. Like, you cannot
Yeah.
be both physically tanky and specially tanky, and it's under a little more pressure as a result.
Mm-hmm.
I think Roserade is sick.
I was a little surprised to see it there, but like I can agree like how it could be pretty good, especially with like spikes.
Yeah, so like Spikes and T-Spike support is cool. Sleep Powder's sick. I guess Technician Hidden Power Fire is a little better if you're gonna like say a Scavalier is this high up as well, which is, you know, in this tier. Like, stuff like that is kind of cool. I used to run HP Ice on my Technician. It hits stuff like Crobat and Chestnut. Chestnut on the Switch because it's immune to Sludge Bomb. So
Yeah.
I don't have much to say other than it's kind of it's a special attacker of the Grass type that I guess like has room for utility moves where I feel like Celebi doesn't. Like Roserade, you can kind of get away with Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, Hidden Power, +1 utility move. Mostly because you don't have Nasty Plot, but Sludge Bomb kind of makes up for that by getting a poison on something.
Mhm.
Arcanine, that's baby Entei, but it's actually, I think
underrated.
Shades should talk about this one.
Yeah. I've always been saying Arcanine is pretty underrated just because of since it has access to Intimidate and as well as like good coverage moves that Entei doesn't necessarily have. So stuff like close combat, like that's pretty good for like Dick Fat Snorlaxes. And then we have Wild Charge for Mandibuzz and Empoleon, and the same thing. It still claims the KO on Sharpedo with extreme speed, and then Flare Blitz is still pretty spammable and pretty strong. So I think it's pretty good.
The main thing it loses is like the ability to spread burn, but it gains a lot of utility to make up for that. Like I think having an ability is a very good start through Intimidate and Flash Fire.
Yeah, even Flash Fire.
And the coverage comes in handy. Like, you don't give up anything, really. I think Stone Edge is a shaky recovery move, especially when you look at something like Wild Charge, which I guess the downfall of Arcanine is keeping it alive. Like, you're going to be Flare Blitzing, you're going to be Wild Charging, but to be honest, you were going to have those problems anyway with Arcanine because it doesn't really have a spammable physical fire move outside of Flare Blitz. So I kind of find that you're doubling down on it, and it's not like an added nuisance. Like Arcanine's going to be kind of that hitter anyway that's hitting something really hard and switching out after. I want to keep this short, but the other thing I want to say is like I don't think the defensive set is that good, and it's not necessarily the reason Arcanine is ranked this high. I think Arcanine's best set in the tier is like an all-out attacker.
I like Arcanine as a substitute Entei.
Yeah. Rotom Heat. Fire moves are just super spammable. Volt Switch Core is nice. Like, that's the thing. It gets over Raikou for sure. It can be used as a screen setter. It can be a Wisp user. It's not bad. Defogger too.
I just don't see it that often.
Yeah, it's kind of just Rotom Heat's kind of just there for me. It's definitely good, but it's like you kind of see it and it's like it's just there.
Okay, so one thing I'll say is out of a lot of these users here, like it's kind of the most notable trick user this high up, unless you want to count something like Starmie. Like Rotom is probably the most viable trick user, it looks like. So if you need to trick like Curslax's Scarf, that's pretty good.
Yeah, true.
Okay, Smooge. Hipfire thoughts on this as Scavalier here?
I actually don't mind. I think Escavalier is really good, especially because it underspeeds a lot of Trick Room. It's base 20 speed, so like, if Trick Room isn't using Escavalier kind of just shits on Trick Room. It's also a really good Assault Vest user. It's good.
It can Swords Dance. It's a band user.
Yeah. It just hits hard, and it has good bulk, and it's good against Trick Room, which is common.
Its typing is nice too, because like as you mentioned, an AV user, like the average Celebi is not running HP Fire in this tier, so this thing totally walls Celebi, even Nasty Plot. It can pursue trap it too.
Yeah.
As knockoff too. I think a Scavalier might be like the only Pokemon people will see in this list. Maybe other than Arcanine, because they kind of affiliate Arcanine with like a common Pokemon. But a
Yeah.
Scavalier is genuinely like amazing, and I would not move it from this position in the tier list personally.
I think it just needs a
Um,
bit of time in the tier just to settle in, and but yeah, I do think it's pretty good, just from
For
the sets that
sure.
people.
Gudra.
Gudra's kind of awkward. Like, I think it was better when Celebi was kind of like. I mean, it's awkward because I'm also saying Celebi is getting better. Problem with Celebi as a psychic user or a psychic Pokemon is the fact that Celebi doesn't have Psyshock, so Gudra used to entirely wall it. And I would say there's more viable Psyshock options now, namely Starmie. But I still think Gudra goes up a little bit because it walls Raikou pretty well. Like, it's an offensive answer to Raikou.
Yeah, one thing I was thinking of before, when you were talking about Volcanion and how it can run like Choice Banded to like mix up what it is. I feel like
Yeah.
Gudra could do the exact same thing.
I totally agree.
It
So,
actually
like, is
has
that a
the
reason?
exact same offensive stats.
Interesting. All right, fair enough. Fair play. And I think that's actually legitimate as well. Like,
Never
if you
mind,
ask
I
people
lied.
in, is it 100? Is it 100 base attack
it's
instead of
100.
110?
Yeah, it's 100.
But it has the same special attack, or no?
No, the special attack is 10 lower, and then the attack is also 10 lower. That's my bad.
Whatever. I mean, and then also I would say Volcanion had more spammable stab moves. But besides the point, if you ask people in Nora Smooge, they'll say Banded Gudra is the truth anyway.
It is, dude.
Like-
I think it's kind of good.
Gudra is one of those mons that definitely has different sets. Like, a lot of people think of AV and Specs, but Bandit is genuinely amazing. And that's so weird because I would say, like, Outrage is one of the worst. I would actually say Dragon moves really are not the best in this tier as a whole. Like, especially if you're a Dragon move you have to lock into in this case is Outrage. You really don't want to be locked into Outrage in this tier.
Yeah.
But despite all that, I would say Banded Gudra is pretty good. And I don't have much else to say about it other than the fact it's pretty incredible that physical Gudra is that good, despite not having the best physical moves and stab to abuse.
Okay. What do you think about Venomoth?
Personally, I think this position's fine. Shades, what do you think?
Yeah, I guess I can talk about this, and then I gotta hop off. But
Do
I
it.
think Venomoth is pretty great. I think I like sub disable a lot. Just because it's like a lot of like it can set up on Crook and can set up on Entei, stuff like that. Like if you can disable it, then you're golden.
So
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, I think it belongs higher. I've started running a different set. I'm running Roost, Sludge Bomb, Bug Buzz, Quiver Dance. So basically running Volcarona, just different. And I don't know, I've had a lot of success with it because Sludge Bomb allows you to beat things like Crobat after +1. Crobat is usually its best counter, and because it normally only runs Bug Buzz, right?
Yeah.
That's
Also X-Cloud can completely hardwall it because of soundproof. But
Ooh,
Sludge Bomb
true.
stops that. I don't know.
True, and then
I always find that Sleep Powder ends up missing a lot. And it just kind of cost me my Venomoth, so I said, fuck it, I'm going to put Sludge Bomb on it, and then it just becomes so much better.
I guess my favorite set was the sub disable one that Shades mentioned. Like, what did you? I guess do you have any thoughts on that set? What made you change to dual stab? It's literally just probably Crobat, right? Part of it.
It's almost exclusively Crobat, yeah.
Mhm.
And Exploud.
Gotcha, makes
One
sense.
you see a lot because it's easy to get,
So where would you put Venomoth in your opinion?
I think I'd put it
pers-
right above Arcanine.
That's fair. I could get down with it at least.
Yeah.
Hey Shades, bro. I appreciate you
Alright.
so much for coming out. You got anything else you want to say before you run?
I guess to the viewers, just make sure to subscribe to these two because they're pretty amazing. Got a lot of PvP knowledge, and I guess I'm honored to just be in the same conversation as these guys because
Oh, come on, you veteran. We love you too.
So yeah, it's been
Chiseled Gengar, right?
Yeah,
Chiseled Gengar. All right, you guys better go sub to him.
Yeah. I'll see you guys later then.
Yeah, see ya. All right, Smooge. I say with Shades gone, it's the perfect opportunity to speed run this shit.
Yeah, I'm getting tired, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I have to start cleaning
Alright,
my room as well.
Sure. So let's do this. I'm gonna go 3 hit fire fast, and then you do the next 3. We'll do that up to B+. Say if we want to name any mons in B+ or below, end it up. This should only be like 10-15 minutes. You ready?
Yep.
I hate to not spend a lot of time on Umbreon. Umbreon is sick. It's better with Starmie and Raikou in the tier. It can genuinely get so much better as the tier goes on. But for now, A tier is good. Wish support is great. It's also kind of setup fodder, but not at the same time. Foul play can break Raikou's sub. Gligar probably was also ranked too low for too long. If you saw my previous tier list, Gligar is genuinely amazing. It just suffers a bit from being a crook check that also suffers from getting knocked off, which makes it lose a lot of its bulk. Plenty of utility through rocks and defog. Dude, Stoutland is cracked. Like, honestly, sand teams are kind of the wave. Sharpedo can beat it if it gets enough speed boosts, but at the same time, Stoutland can completely roll through teams, especially if Sharpedo does not hit a double protect. You go.
Okay, just real quick, one thing I want to add to Umbreon is it's one of the few Pokemon that can actually give Sharpedo trouble. With max defense and protect, you can actually wall Sharpedo, assuming you don't get defense dropped. But Emboar is like, I'd literally call it worse Entei with better coverage, and actually no, that's just exactly what I'd call it. It's a super hard hitting wall breaker. It literally probably 2-hit KOs or OKOs everything above it, but the problem is that it's just so slow, and it looks bulky, but it's really not that bulky. Deblade kind of has the same problem. Deblade I'd consider like, Deblade is like the opposite of Sharpedo to me, right? So it can take like one of like every hit and then return with something really, really strong, but it never really gets more than one, you know? It kind of just takes a hit and then dies, whereas Sharpedo never takes hits and then always kills, you know? That made no sense.
No, dude, you're losing your mind.
I'm losing my mind.
I wouldn't have much to add to Doublade also, so I guess we can just continue.
Yeah, Doublade just really, really bulky, and it always like ends up getting a kill, but it never really gets more than one. I think that's strong. Like the biggest problem with it.
Like even on the special side, it's bulky. Yep.
Tyrantrum.
You still have Tyrantrum, yeah.
I love Tyrantrum. I use it on my team. I think Rock Polish is a very underrated set. Like just Rock Polish, Life Orb 3 attacks, and it literally shits on everything, man. Head Smash is super hard to switch into. Actually, I'd say it just doesn't have any switch-ins. There's maybe Hippo, but even then, I think Head Smash into Life Orb Outrage kills Hippo. I want to say.
I believe you're right. Yes.
And then just nothing else here really takes Head Smash into
anything.
Usually you'd run Earthquake and Outrage, right?
Yep.
But the problem is obviously Head Smash accuracy. And the other thing is just its typing isn't really that amazing. It's also hard to get in my opinion. Everything seems to have a coverage move that hits Tyrantrum.
Like, Tyrantrum comes in for free the most on Crobat, but it can also U-turn out. That's kind of the thing. It probably comes in the most free on E-Speed Entei.
Yeah, that's usually how I bring it in. Because I pair it with Sharpedo, so Sharpedo can always protect the scout what they're going for. And if I ever see E-Speed, I just go hard at Tyrantrum every time.
So I'll go over the next 3. I think the only thing I would add to what Smooge said, and to keep it brief, I'm an Emboar fan, as you guys know. I think Emboar got a little, like, better because of all the AV users in the tier that can kind of abuse with Volt Turn momentum, but it's too early to tell. I would say like Emboar's speed maybe isn't a huge problem right now, but we'll kind of see how the meta shifts. Swellow is Boom Burst the Pokemon. It has Heat Wave, but it almost never wants to click it. So I think this is, I mean, we talked about it, literally fell from A+, so why am I wasting time on this? Gardevoir, I think Gardevoir is cool. Trace is cool. Spec set is cool. I think the Trick Room set is kind of trolling. I think Gardevoir is really cool here. The biggest detriment with Gardevoir is the fact it gets one-shot by Sharpedo's Liquidation. I think that's hilarious. Magneton, I used to think higher of. I think there's other electrics you can definitely use, but Magneton has one really cool niche that is trapping Empoleon and other steel types. I also think I think Magneton can hit really hard with analytic sets, especially with the choice specs on it. It doesn't have many switch-ins, similar to Starmie. In fact, if Starmie is running a Psychic Bolt Beam set, then Magneton can switch into it. So there's definitely some use there.
Oh, yeah, that was 3. So one thing I want to add to Magneton is that it's the best electric type in the tier.
Shut the fuck up.
It is. Look, there's none of them above it.
I don't see a Raikou up there anymore.
Exactly.
I see a Rotom Heat. What do you want to do about that?
So
Perfect.
I forgot about Rotom.
It's okay.
Toxicroak. I don't know. I'm not really sold on Toxicroak. I don't think it actually belongs here.
I mean, it really sets up on Empoleon. Like, that's it.
I guess that's true. Okay, you know what? On second thought, it's pretty good in a meta where water is it's very common. That being said, a lot of the water types can touch it. I think it can probably set up on both Empoleon, maybe Feraligatr. It depends.
Maybe. I would say Milotic too.
Milotic for sure, yeah. I guess all the bulky waters, except maybe Seismitoad and Swampert,
yeah, and like Quagsire,
definitely take advantage of it. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all the time I want to spend on Toxicroak.
Yeah. Rotom, I think it's just mediocre. I don't think it's bad, but it's not like anything crazy. Shaman, I feel the same way. I think Scarf Shaman's pretty cool. I also think like Leech Seed Shaman's cool, but other than that, it's kind of just there. It's just a hedgehog. He's chilling.
So I'll talk about Seismitoad then. I think Seismitoad is better now with Raikou in the tier. Obviously a Volt blocker and a bulky water. The water immunity is cool. Smooge mentioned that he really enjoys spamming Liquidation, and that kind of disables that. Seismitoad has a few things over Swampert in particular, being knockoff and water absorbent. You know, that makes it pretty good.
And also being just faster.
True, being faster is a pretty good thing too. Porygon 2. I would say Porygon 2 is just extremely fat. I think it was underrated for the longest time if you saw my old tier list. I think this kind of gives it the appreciation it deserves. If you don't have strong breakers, Porygon 2 can be a nightmare. And I would say in particular, you really need a fighting type or a lot of chip damage on it to actually beat it. So luckily there's fighting types available, but Porygon 2 can be extremely threatening, both under Trick Room with a download boost and just as a big defensive fat wall. Like Porygon 2 might even be too low. Like in a perfect meta, Porygon 2 might be too low. That's kind of my take.
I agree with you. I think Porygon 2 should be like, I think I'd put it like above Tyrantrum.
Yeah, I think it's insane.
I think it's literally the Blissey replacement.
Yeah, probably. And it's like offensive and it has other tools too. Like it doesn't have rocks, but it has Thunder Wave and offenses. So Chestnut has to be this high because Crook is in the tier. Like Chestnut is a great check to Crook, as well as the fact it actually does get recovery through synthesis.
And it also
can
actually
set
checks Sharpedo.
That is true. It also checks Sharpedo. So yeah, definitely consider Chestnut on your team. It also probably just has like a better protect in literally every way because of the fact if you touch it with a physical move, you kind of take a little bit of damage. I think 12%. So
yeah.
Yeah, and with Protect being so good, it has the best one in the tier. You go.
Swampert. I think it's literally just worse Seismitoad. I don't really know what else to say about it because you kind of already went over what it lacks.
Yep, so the only thing I'll throw is the fact that Swampert can be Spidef, better than Toad in my opinion.
Yeah. Tentacruel, it's a good spinner, but other than that, I think it's just kind of dead weight. Not gonna lie. What do you think?
I don't have much to add on that, honestly. I kind of got fried by like a timid Assault Vest set, which was kind of cool because it was able to. I don't have a 31 speed Celebi, so it beat my Celebi, and that was kind of sad. But
yeah, that's true. I think Tentacruel really shines in its speed tier, and just having Rapid Spin. Its typing is also good for what it is, but other than that, it's kind of just. I feel like most times I play Tentacruel, it's just kind of there, you know.
yeah, it's not that hard to beat, but it can definitely like kind of catch you off guard because it's a low key. Like, it's fodder if people use it incorrectly, but it doesn't have to be if it properly uses its speed tier to attack you, in my opinion.
Yeah, Gastrodon. I don't know. I kind of like Gastrodon, but it's just like you never really find a good use for it when there's Pokemon like Slowbro. I think Gastrodon has a really good fit on Stall, though, I will say.
So Gastrodon is another one of those checks on paper that's really, really good at checking both Raikou and Starmie, provided there's no Grass Knot from the Starmie. Gastrodon kind of falls, though, because Umbreon has Wish Support, Gastrodon doesn't. Gastrodon's only utility is through Curse and Memento. Like, everything else is kind of selfish, like Scald and Toxic.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's your turn.
Yeah, it's my turn. So I think Slowking is personally ass. Like, I could even see, like, just put this down in B+ tier, my honest take in the new meta, if you agree or not. Yeah, I see you're already positioning it. Like, Slowking kind of just gets eaten alive by the new special attackers, and I think pretty much everything it can do, Slowbro does better. And if you actually need a special wall, use a different special wall. Donphan and Fortress are next up for me, and I'll kind of combine them just because of the fact they can both be used as a suicide lead, but they also can be used as a bulky pivot, which I think is kind of cool. Like, Donphan can survive Reckless Mienshao into high jump kick from Mienshao, and I think that's notable. There's definitely ways you can kind of use it as like a pivot, especially like max HP with Raikou in the tier. Again, if I kind of give Nidoqueen that treatment, I got to give it to Donphan. Except Donphan definitely has more utility through Rapid Spin, Knockoff, and Rocks, where Nidoqueen gains offenses. So there's definitely a reason for a tier gap, but I don't think Donphan's that bad. As for Fortress, I personally don't really like Fortress. I probably won't add much to it, except for the fact that it is bulkier than Donphan, so it can be a little harder to clean up in an endgame if you don't ship it properly.
All right, so Kabutops. I think Kabutops is the best lead in the tier. Fuck you.
Well, the only reason the other two are above it is because Kabutops isn't, anything but a lead.
Yeah, but I think Kabutops is definitely the best lead in tier. It basically guarantees rocks against anything that isn't faster and has taunt. Or maybe like Magic Bounce and Espeon. But even then, you can rock Tomb Waterfall and it'll die. But for the most part, you guaranteed rocks. It also gets Rapid Spin, which helps it prevent rocks at the same time. And then it actually just has a good move pool to have as a lead. Like, it gets Knockoff, it gets Rock Tomb, it gets Waterfall, it's just a great stab. It has really high attack. It's basically everything a suicide lead wants, honestly.
I'll say another thing about Kabutops.
I literally compare it to Excadrill. It's just, I call it Excadrill Jr.
I think it's good, though, because like I said earlier, my honest opinion of the tier right now, like from how I see it, is U-turn leads are kind of common. So that makes me think Kabutops is really good because it's abusing weak armor more than ever, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Unless they're literally using a Volt Switch lead instead, which, fair enough.
Yeah, anytime something U-turns on me, I get rocks and then I get damage. It's great.
Yeah, because you get a +2 speed, so it's kind of massive. And Kabutops is no slouch. It hits really hard. If you don't go into a proper wall, it can even claim a kill, which, it's kind of like Excadrill, yeah.
Yeah, so Hoopa was actually down here, but I moved it up because I think it's good.
You told me it was fine in B+, though, the other day, so you literally just changed your mind.
Whatever.
Yeah?
I like Hoopa. Hoopa's
you told me
good.
you stopped using it.
I did stop using it, but Hoopa's definitely still good. It's it hits so hard. And it is a viable Trick Room user, I would say. I don't think I'd call it a viable Trick Room setter, though. But it definitely has the capabilities of kind of plowing through a team in the right conditions,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that alone just should definitely allow it to be at the bottom of A- behind Ditto, because Ditto Ditto's Ditto. Ditto's only good as the metagame is.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I like the way you reposition this. Hoopa used to be second worst in the tier. I think that's how the old list looked, exactly like this for the last 2 spots. So, alas, you can do that.
Yeah, and we're not gonna go over B plus, right?
Yeah, is there anything you want to like point out here? I saw you move Barbarical.
I actually think Barbarico's really good. I think it's super underrated as a sweeper. I think it's unexplored. I'm not saying that because I get fucked by Barbarical every week.
Fair enough. So, I mean, you can double protect on it if they don't shell smash.
Dude, this thing
Guess that's all you got.
Every time I fight one of these, I get 6-0.
Dude, for sure. It kind of destroys offense and like
Dude,
it can destroy
it
fat
lives an
teams,
earthquake
too.
from Sharpedo. Like how?
Even after shell smash, no way.
Yeah, dude, I think it does. Hold on, Sharpedo.
Sure.
I already had it. I'm stupid.
Yep, you're good. Barbarical. -1.
Oh shit.
You're just extremely fucking. You're losing your mind.
Tapping.
So let's go back to the tier list. Is there anything else in B plus you want to go over? Because then I am after you.
Exploud is still good as a boomer spammer, but not really. Nothing else really here shines to me. I guess here is just good.
I was gonna just throw in Virizion, to be honest. I still think Virizion is like a pretty cool screen setter, to be honest. If you were to like consider using that role on Virizion, the one thing Virizion does that the other screen setters we were talking about don't do is it switches into Crook and can get up screens. And again, kind of like Cobalion, it can really punish that by being somewhat offensive, like because it gets the justified boost. Like you don't really want to switch in and get your light clay knocked off, but I don't think it's terrible as a screen setter at all.
Yeah, these grass types out here just love setting screens, huh?
I guess so. I don't have anything else to add to B plus. So all your mons you had fun and added. Anything you want to say about these mons?
So Shelmet is the best Pokemon of all time. I don't know if you guys know, but Shelmet gets Recover, it gets T-Spikes, it gets Spikes, and it gets Yawn. So this thing is the ultimate Spike stacker.
How much does it take for Mienshao High Jump Kick?
25. Let's check. Shelmet. Else. Blank set. Who
it's
are
fine.
you?
Just put in. Set it up.
Bold. Eviolite. Not fairy
You can do
memory.
Regenerator. You can do Regenerator, Mienshao.
No, I'll put in
Reckless.
Choice Banded.
Wait, is this real?
What the hell is a set? I'm calculating Gen 7 too. That's crazy.
Choice
Who's running this shit?
Yeah, I don't know. Reckless.
32?
Are you shitting me? That's insane, actually.
38. Woo!
Well played. Well played. Well played.
How much is Stone Edge doing?
No, less. It's less.
Anyways.
Oh, okay. Actually, no. I forgot it's not Bug Steel. Okay. Cool.
All right.
Anything else about mons you added?
Did I add mons? Oh, just
yeah. You added
bottom?
like everything in Raikou and Friends and below.
Oh, these
like in Brazil
memes.
tier.
Brazil, these Pokemon are disgusting garbage. If you use any of these, you're either in hell or Brazil.
Like, what's wrong with Cast Form? And what's wrong with Azov?
Fuck Azov. This Pokemon's stupid.
What's wrong with Cast Form?
Cloister makes you a bitch. So does Shinchino. I hate Cryogonal. It's a stupid snowflake. Conkeldurr can suck my dick. Cast Form, he looks like a tits.
Shout out Pleb Places as Selgor, just sitting there. I actually
So,
like Braviary, what you put in Raikou and Friends. I thought that was the most interesting.
These are Pokemon I respect. Combuskin is literally a penis. I don't know if you noticed.
God, you're losing your mind. All right, let's wrap this up. I want you to go back to the actual tier list now.
Fuck Rotom.
We're not going to go over any mons. Like, you know the one that I sent you at the beginning of the video?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so everyone, this tier list without all the... Oh, Smooge, if you want to export the other one, fuck it, I'll throw it in as an Easter egg, but this is kind of the definitive community tier list that Smooge has up now. I won't really go over any other mons specifically, because this is already an extremely long video, but if you care more to know any about the low tiers, you can message me on Discord and I'll happily talk to you about it. There's honestly not much I would go over anyway. to be honest, the thing is with low tiers is they tend to be more and more niche picks as something specific in the metagame gets strong. That's why low tiers are here. Like Ferroseed, Vileplume are kind of here at the expense of Sharpedo. In Ferroseed's case, it's more Starmie and Raikou. So anyway, bro. All right, you can go back to your dick around tier list now. You can make some funny quotable to end the video on.
Sharpedo.
Everyone, this was 300 turns, episode 3, the return of I'm One for Orange. And without further ado, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, comment if you did, subscribe to Sharpedo's channel. You can find that in the description. And bro, Brazilians keep exposing us in Rothy's tournaments. Like, shout out Brazil for real.
All right.
Shout out
Thank
Brazil.
you guys for watching. Thank you guys for watching.
Go to Mice Maker. Go to Mice.
Adios.
Adios.